Hidden Horsepower from PRI 2022. We're in the Total Seal booth. Lake, look who we got. Pat Musi. Awesome.
Oh, man, the man.
What's up, Pat?
Great seeing you.
How are you? How are you? Another tremendous year. You are an engine builder, a racer, a television celebrity.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got a lot going on for a guy from New Jersey. Way to go.
Yeah, it's crazy, that deal. But I really, they downplayed it. But this year, I think we proved it's good for the whole industry.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
You get guys come out that never seen a race that now they'll come out and watch an NHRA race or a Pro Mod race or whatever.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And so the whole, is a funnel. Yep. There's a funnel. You get people and they get more hardcore as they get down the funnel.
Yeah.
People are flipping on No Prep Kings, Street Outlaws. They're seeing these people. They're seeing these cars. They see Lizzie, like, oh, look at that pretty girl. What's going on? She's driving a race car? Oh, man, there's race cars?
Yeah.
Wow, those cars are awesome. Where can I see these cars? And next thing you know,
they're at a race,
buying a ticket to the NHRA or they're going to Midwest Pro Mod. It's undoubtedly good for the sport.
Yeah, I think so. I was against it in the beginning because the streetcar deal. I still ain't got my hands around the streetcar deal. But
it's different than where you started, right? It's like, hey, that was...
The MPK is where we're going to make a real strong effort. We got 2 cars. We got the wreck cars fixed. He's thrashing on a new car.
Okay.
You got to have 2 cars. I mean, that deal, if you watch them coming through the beams, I mean, they are just
all over the place.
Control. Yeah. I mean, at any time, something can happen. And if anybody thinks they're easy to drive, put the money up, they can climb in and try it. I guarantee you, they let go of that button, they'll slam on the brakes.
Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the power plant. We're talking 959 cubic inches with as much nitrous oxide as you have figured out how to pump through these things.
Right.
On a track that starts out not prepped, but by the end of a race, I was there. I went to No Prep Kings in West Palm Beach with Pat, and I got to hang out with the team the whole time. So I got to kind of experience, by the end of the day, you've got a very sticky track surface. These things are wicked fast, a similar engine, maybe more than what Ricky's running in his Pro Mod car, right? To the 8th mile, first to the stripe. It's incredible.
The only problem that we see on our graph, you guys average, the starting line to about 150 feet really comes in because they're spinning so hard. But even by the end of the day out there, it's still tricky.
Oh, yeah.
You just can't get enough rubber out there. They scrape it to the concrete.
Right.
So it would take, and there's never glue. You saw that.
Yes. No. Well, it's impractical for them. That's downtime. They're filming a show. And that was the thing that I experienced. And I thought it was great. I was on the set of a TV show, and there were people there watching, but we're filming the show.
Yeah.
And there are crews all around. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. And then to watch the show afterwards, it's interesting. But you guys had a tough year, with Lizzie. Lizzie had a really gutsy moment. That has already aired, and so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough with your little girl out there.
Yeah, it was. And in her defense, and you'll know, you guys race. Well, you haven't raced. I don't know if you've
I've raced some things. Bracket racer. Super Pro Track Champion, 1995, Rosa Motorsports Park.
Ryan is the hardest
he's tough.
guy to beat. And Lizzie's beat him more than anybody. He'll tell you that.
Yep.
I mean, he's always on kill.
Oh, yeah.
So when they left, he shook immediately. She didn't know that. She was way out in front. Getting to the finish line, it got a little crazy. And she didn't, because he's good for coming by her.
Yeah.
You don't know where he's at.
No, you have no idea.
So we're looking at a couple things. We're talking about Penske, maybe a G meter deal. If it gets to a certain angle, drop the chutes. Or one crew guy, like a top fuel deal, we can click it off.
Something.
Because she was way back. But I couldn't think fast enough. Lizzie ain't making it.
No,
off, but
the whole run is 3.5 seconds.
Got a little pedal, and it just it's one of them deals, but you're racing.
Right.
So
I thought it showed her determination.
Yeah.
To me, I want to see a racer that wants to win, is ready to do anything to win.
Exactly.
And this guy, coming from the NASCAR side of the world, that's the whole, that's what makes you awesome, is being that guy.
You have to stay on it. As a racer, it's to the finish line.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what, you got to keep going.
Exactly her words. She said, Dad, I was trying to make the finish line. I messed up. You didn't mess up, was he?
Well, think that's the thing. As a driver, we've all had that moment where earlier on you say, well, I'm going to try to do the smart thing, the safe thing, and you lose because you were too conservative.
Exactly.
Then you realize, I can't do that. I'm here to win.
Yeah.
So you try to go to the
She's
finish line.
lost by 6 inches.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
We've all,
No,
we've
that's
all
a-
had
that's
that moment.
Right there,
That's
and
being a competitor,
Right.
and you're the football player that's laying out to catch a ball. In that moment, that's where the competitor athlete takes over, and she had him beat. She beat him actually, but just interesting stuff. How is your engine development program going with that? Because No Prep Kings, just like every other form of motorsports, once people start to realize, oh, what? This is a thing? There's a thing, there's money here? Oh, and it ramps up. So how has it worked with
well, we
you
had
guys?
3 different engines this year. We've settled on what we're going to run, so they're all going to be the same. We have plenty of engines. We need another car. Like I said, we're building 2 cars.
Yep.
We'll have a ton of parts. We'll be ready to do this deal. I'll tell you, it started at the end of the season. These guys, flourishing came in. You just wear your parts out. You can't get rods, you can't get this, you can't get that.
Well, I'm sure that's been one of the struggles too. Like I said, if you had 3 different engines that were kind of different combinations, well, how that car behaves will be different with every engine combination. So you're trying to get consistent, even though the track may not be always that great. But if you know what to expect from the engine as far as the tune, then you can get good. It's like that's not to say it's bracket racing, but you look at, we had Gary Stinner here yesterday. He's like, bracket racing has made him a better superstock racer because they're so competitive, and what y'all are doing there is massively competitive. Yeah, it is a TV show, but you can tell you got serious racing.
For real.
Yeah, it is all
Anybody wants to know out there, the fights are for real. They're not staged. I mean,
No.
they kind of leave me
It's
alone
not
now. They
wrestling.
leave the old man alone. They said, listen, that guy, just leave him alone.
Yeah, I wonder, right? Like, do they understand? Like, we're talking Pat Musi here. Like, you can't mess with this guy.
No, right.
Like, bad stuff could come out.
Yeah.
And in an episode, that actually happened. Guy came into your trailer and was everyone very emotional, and they've made up afterwards. But he's lucky, I guess.
Yes, he is. But we made up. It happens. Heat of the moment stuff. And you know what I told him? I grabbed him on the side. He's a little young. I said, Jared, when you get out of these cars, man, go chill out somewhere. You know how it is. I tell him, don't ever go to a driver at the finish line.
No.
They're all pumped up, and that's where a lot of the fights happen.
Adrenaline. You're
exactly.
getting adrenaline. It's out of your control. Your better judgment is telling you one thing, but your adrenaline is telling you another thing. But this is interesting, right? And like as an NHRA announcer, we are like, oh man, I would love an occasional dust up.
Well, you saw John Force slap. I mean, it happens, but
disagreements. That's competition. It makes people care about what you're doing. And they maybe, in one case, sure, there's somebody who saw you and they think that Pat's the villain. And you just got to deal with that.
I got to deal with it, but they kind of realize the truth comes out, because here's what happens. They'll lie about what they said,
of course,
but when the film comes out, there's no lying.
Right.
Then you see what happens.
I only tell exactly what happened, and that's what. And then I won't mention names, but there's other teams out there that have come to me and apologized and, man, we thought it went. They're saying a whole different story, and when we seen it, so.
Well, but it's
I
great
try
that
to
you're
really lay low now and stay out of that. I don't need that, And I got a couple security guys I've had to have, but I just don't need it,
Well, and that's what's interesting to see the characters who are the drivers, and of course legit, but the people that are just below the surface, the Pat Musis, the Steve Pettys, like this whole, like the best of drag racing, pro mod drag racing, pro line world champions, are Adam Drzajic, the guys that are like making stuff happen are the guys that are making it happen in all of drag racing.
I like it. I'm having a ball out there, and Lizzie's doing good.
That's fantastic. The fact that you're having fun doing it, that's big, right? Because let's be honest, right? There was a period of time, several years ago, I don't think anyone's having any fun.
No,
the racing had kind of gotten unfun, but it's great that these things come back and you can be having fun because you've done a lot of things. If this is fun, then that says a lot.
And what I think has been interesting about Pat, and just like against the grain, kind of over your career with the streetcar stuff with Tony Christian, like you had run pro stock and kind of just decided to go and carve out your own universe, and you were able to do it.
You want to hear a little funny story about Tony? I feel bad, I lost a good friend, but we were at Palm Beach and he couldn't believe it. He said, "I've never seen nothing like that." I said, "Well, come up to the driver's meeting. I want to say something up there." Instead of having a little driver's meeting, I walked Tony. He goes, "What are you going to get me into now?" I said, "Just come out there with me." And I said, "Let me tell you all you guys something. It started this shit, me and him."
Really? No, really. That era where you guys were like talking trash, like trash talk, public trash talk. There was no social media, no phones. People didn't have supercomputers in their pockets. It's like late 80s, early 90s kind of deal. But that really did. That kind of changed
we had
the
a
dynamic.
horsepower TV, which made it. You need the TV, and Sam Corcus does a. I mean, I got nothing. Not one thing I can see he's doing wrong. He's just doing it. He'll pick up the phone. I guarantee if I call him now, he'll always answer. He's one of the guys. He's doing a great job.
That is tremendous. All right, but you just opened a new shop like last year.
How'd the new shop go?
It separated the racing from the machine shop.
Right.
It's great.
That's probably
organized.
Great. Yeah.
You've seen how crowded the machine
shop
is.
Right, yeah.
And now with a couple of cars, and I like having my rig inside. And
that's always nice to have a rig inside.
I've always wanted it. You know, I got it built. I got lucky. I got it built right before the increases went up. So
good timing.
Tremendous.
Well, it probably helps the machine shop too, right? Having the distraction.
Yes, to hold it.
Yeah.
So 2023, what's the same? What's different? More NPK? Anything else?
Just more NPK and stay at it. Put our nose down, and you know me. I've always put it up on a scoreboard. I've been like that. I don't. I might talk trash with them a little bit, but put it up on a scoreboard. Show me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what you're gonna do. When it gets all down to it, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, when I was out there, I'm watching him, right? Like it's just like the energy that comes out of you when the car goes down the track and makes a good lick. That's what it's all about. It was really a fun experience, and I'm glad that you've got this going on. And my dad sits and watches the show. Like that's what he does. My dad can't like go out and work on the car anymore, so he gets his drag racing. He gets his drag racing fix watching Pat and the battles and all of that stuff, and it's great. I can imagine there are thousands just like him that are enjoying that experience. It's great for drag racing.
I mean, even when I'm not with Lizzie, I get stopped in the airport.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But one thing about me, my whole career, and I teach Lizzie this: make time. No matter how much of a hurry you're in, make time for your fans. Because at the end of the day, we're entertainers, and we've got to take care of our fans. I mean, you just can't.
You've always been good at that.
Like, I'll be Justin Bowles and they're calling me, but I'll put it down and I'll go do it. I've just learned to work like that. So.
Well, you made time for us for the Engine Performance Expo, and you did a great tutorial from the very first one, Joe, when you went through and showed us, here's how I tune an engine. Like you're talking to Mike Copeland from Arrington about, you can't dyno tune one of those big nitrous motors.
No.
So what do? You can't just read the spark plug. So you're leaking it down. You're doing all that. I will never forget that picture of looking at that valve cover, all these numbers. I'm like, what the hell, Pat? What's that? So that's the leak down after each run, each cylinder. I'm like, because you're using the ring to read at the tune-up. I'm like, how cool is that? But.
And by the way, I can't say enough about Total Seal. That's all we use.
We appreciate that, by the way.
And I know you do.
Yeah, we do. It's a great relationship to be able to because there's not much more extreme than that.
No.
No,
mean,
just actual the size of everything, huge. And I recall we have a great episode of Hidden Horsepower with Pat. One of the first episodes Pat was on podcast, and the nitrous like going back and forth inside the plenum, and like where's it going to go, and like that was really interesting.
So, Ben Strader and I, we're buddies. You met him last year at St. Elmo's.
Okay.
So we now have in-cylinder combustion analysis on our Engine Performance Expo engine. So we can measure cylinder pressure in each individual cylinder. Back to that crosstalk, we put big diameter short tube headers on one side of the engine and long tube short diameter, small diameters on the other side of the engine. And we're like, oh, let's see what it does. Now let's swap it. It only liked it on one side because how the manifold talks. And I thought about you. It's like, yeah, so you got this firing order at timing events. You think that every cylinder has the same appetite, sucking in the same, and they don't. It's just what Pat said.
Amazing.
It's so cool, to see the data back up what you had seen from experience. But now you've got this thing.
I think I told you that story at Edelbrock. We made, instead of a throttle body, it was injected. It was just like a 700 horsepower 555.
Yeah.
So we would just open it a quarter inch, open it a half inch. You could look down and see that fuel just. You ought to try that, and you'd be shocked.
Oh, we got the high-speed camera. We'll do that.
Amazing. Pat, great job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Guys.
Appreciate you. And that's what it's all about. Hidden Horsepower on location, PRI 2022.